Abhay Charnarvanda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. ISKCON founder, Acharya BBT founder, Savior of the whole world, Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada ki. Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Nitai Gaur Premanand. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavti Naishtiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 19, text number 37. Yaha vai Hiraṇyākṣa vadam mahadbhutam. Yo vai Hiraṇyākṣa vadam mahadbhutam. Vikriditam karana shukaratmanaha. Vikriditam karana shukaratmanaha. Shrunoti gayati anumodati anjasa. Shrunoti gayati anumodate anjasa. Vimuchyate brahmavadat api dvijaha. Vimuchyate brahmavadadapi dvijaha. Yo vai Hiraṇyākṣa vadam mahadbhutam. Vikriditam karana shukaratmanaha. Shrunoti gayati anumodate anjasa. Vimuchyate brahmavadadapi dvijaha. Yo vai Hiraṇyākṣa vadam mahadbhutam. Vikriditam karana shukaratmanaha. Shrunoti gayati anumodate anjasa. Vimuchyate brahmavadadapi dvijaha. Yaha, he who, why, indeed, Hiraṇyākṣa. The killing of Hiraṇyākṣa. Mahadbhutam, most wonderful. Vikriditam, pastime. Karana, for reasons like rising the earth from the ocean. Shukara, appearing in the form of a boar. Atmanaha, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Shrunoti, hears. Gayati, chants. Anumodate, takes pleasure. Anjasa, at once. Vimuchyate, becomes freed. Brahmavadat, from the sin of killing a brāhmana. Api, even Dvijaha. O Brahmanas. Translation and purport by Vishwaguru. O Brahmanas, anyone who hears, chants or takes pleasure in the wonderful narration of the killing of the Hiraṇyākṣa demon by the Lord, who appeared as the first boar in order to deliver the world, is at once relieved of the results of sinful activities, even the killing of a Brahmana. Please repeat the translation. O Brahmanas, anyone who hears, chants or takes pleasure in the wonderful narration of the killing of the Hiraṇyākṣa demon by the Lord, who appeared as the first boar in order to deliver the world, is at once relieved of the results of sinful activities, even the killing of a Brahmana. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Godhead is in the absolute position. There is no difference between his pastimes and his personality. Anyone who hears about the pastimes of the Lord associates with the Lord directly. And one who associates directly with the Lord is certainly freed from all sinful activities, even to the extent of killing of a Brahmana, which is considered the most sinful activity in the material world. One should be very eager to hear about the activities of the Lord from the bona fide source, the pure devotee. If one simply gives oral reception to the narration and accepts the glories of the Lord, then he is qualified. The impersonalist philosophers cannot understand the activities of the Lord. They think that all the activities are Maya, therefore they are called Mayavadis. Since everything to them is Maya, these narrations are not for them. Some impersonalists are reluctant to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, although many of them are now taking an interest in it just for monetary gain. Actually, however, they have no faith. On the contrary, they describe it in their own way. We should not hear therefore from the Mayavadis. We have to hear from Shuta Goswami or Maitreya, who actually present the narrations as they are. And only then can we relish the pastimes of the Lord. Otherwise, the effects on the neophyte audience will be poisonous. Doesn't see Bhaktivedanta Purport. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuram Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamy Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktarunda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are in the last two verses of this narration of Lord Varaha and Hiraṇyākṣa demon. And Shuta Goswami is explaining the Falashruti, the result of hearing this pastime. So that's why he is concluding this episode by explaining the glories of hearing the pastimes. Yo vai Hiraṇyākṣavadam mahadbhutam. Anyone who hears about this narration. What is this narration about? Hiraṇyākṣavadam, killing of demon Hiraṇyākṣa. So what is so special? This is mahadbhutam. This is most wonderful thing. Then who killed him? Vikriditam karana shukaraatmanaha. It was a playful pastime for the Lord. Vikriditam. Krida means to play. Vikriditam means it's a pastime play for the Lord. Then karana shukaraatmanaha. Who was that Lord? What was his personality? He is the original cause, the Adi Varaha, Karana Shukaratmanaha, who had come to deliver the earth. Shunoti Gayati Anumodate Anjasa. So those who hear, Shunoti, Gayati, those who chant, Anumodate, those who take pleasure. So somebody is chanting, somebody is listening, and anyone who takes pleasure in this pastime, Anjasa, immediately. Vimuchyate Brahmavadad api dvijaha. Oh my dear Brahmanas, Vimuchyate Brahmavadad api. He becomes cleansed of all sinful reactions, even up to the sinful reaction of killing a Brahmana. Brahma Hatya Mahapapa, generally it is said, killing a Brahmana is the most sinful activity. So by hearing about the Lord and his pastimes, even that most sinful activity can become cleansed of. Like morning we chant Tulsi Pradakshana Mantra. Yani kani cha papani Brahma Hatyadi kani cha Tani tani pranashyanti Pradakshina pade pade. So yani kani cha papani. So what and all sinful activities, let them be. Brahma Hatyadi kani cha, even up to the point of killing a Brahmana. Tani tani pradashyanti. By doing Pradakshina to Tulsi Maharani, we become cleansed of all that sinful. So how? Because we are associated with the Lord's associates. So Tulsi Maharani is the Lord's representative in this material world. So by offering respects to Tulsi, we gain the mercy of the Lord. We become cleansed of. So when you hear about the pastimes of the Lord, when you chant about the glories of the Lord, and you should take pleasure, not just say the Naam ke vaste hearing. You should enjoy the pastime. Anumodate. So then we become cleansed of all the sinful reactions. In the purport, Prabhupada is saying, if one simply gives oral reception to the narration and accepts the glories of the Lord, then he becomes qualified. Qualification for liberation. One should be very eager to hear about the activities of the Lord from the bona fide source, the pure devotee. Then again we should have the tatra laulyam ekalam mulyam. What is the opportunity for us to attain that love of Godhead? Greediness. Laulyam. So that is the only price we have to pay. So we should be very eager. But right point is to hear from pure devotees, not from anyone and everyone. We have to hear from Sutta Goswami or Maitreya, who actually present the narrations as they are. So when you hear from the pure devotees, they present the topics as they are. And only then can we relish the pastimes of the Lord, otherwise the effects on the neophyte audience will be poisonous. So if you hear from non-Vaishnava source, so it becomes an poisonous effect. Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also said, Mayavadi Bhashya Shunile Hoy Sharvanash. If we hear from Mayavadi, the commentaries on Vedic perspectives, our spiritual life is doomed. So, Shastra in Bhagavatam itself, many places this Falashruti has been mentioned. So then people can question, Bhagavatam is free from all material contaminations. So how come Bhagavatam is offering benefits? You do this, you will get this. This is Karma Kandiya. But how come Bhagavatam is giving that Karma Kandiya style example? So this is not in a Karma Kandiya perspective. So what happens when you hear about the Lord? Krishna also clearly said in second chapter, Bhagavatam also clearly says, what is that Shloka? No. Second canto where it says 2.3.10. Either for liberation or for any desire. Akama sarvakamo va moksha kama udarati. You have any desire, no desire, or desire for liberation. So you have to connect with the Lord, worship the Lord. So by regularly hearing this Bhagavatam, what is happening is we become cleansed of Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. So we become purified. See, Dhruva Maharaj approached the Lord with some material intention. He wanted some kingdom. But what happened when he approached the Lord, when he had darshan of the Lord? He said, Swamin Kritardosmin Varam Nayache. He said, I don't want any benediction, I am satisfied. So even though when people come with some specific motive, but when they come in touch with pure devotee, when they come in touch with Srimad Bhagavatam, even the Falashruti, it says, you become purified. And what is this purified? It is saying, you'll go back home, back to Godhead. It is not offering anything, a material kind of reward in this world. It is offering pure spiritual perspective. So like at the end of this third canto also we come across this pastime between Devahuti and Kapila. So Devahuti was also sincerely hearing. So anyone who hears to that narration at the end again, Maitreya concludes by saying, he says, Ya idam anushrunoti yo abhidhate Kapila muner matam atma yoga guhyam Bhagavati kritadihi suparna ketav upalabhate bhagavat pada padaravindam. So similarly it says also, this description, Kapila muner matam atma yoga guhyam. The philosophy, what was spoken by Kapila Muni to his mother Devahuti, which includes the Sankhya philosophy. Atma Yoga Guhyam. This is confidential topics of spirit, soul, material body and the relation with the Supreme Lord, which is very confidential. And Yaidam Anushrunoti Yo Abhidhate. So anyone who hears or who reads about this narration, then Bhagavati Kritadihi, he becomes a fixed devotee of the Supreme Personality of God, a determined devotee, Kritadihi. His intelligence becomes fixed. Then Suparna Keto, and who is carried by Garuda, and Upalabhate Bhagavat Padaravindam. At the end, Garuda will take him to the spiritual world, to the personality of God. So just by hearing or reading about this pastime, about the Lord's teaching to his mother, you get the same benefit. You'll go back home, back to Godhead, and you take shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord. Or similarly, one more place. See, we can understand this is okay, devotional perspective. Then in the 4th canto starting, there were discussion between Daksha, Lord Shiva, Lord Vishnu, Brahma, all these personalities. Daksha Yajna, which is actually not directly glorification of the Lord, but an insult to a Vaishnava, offending a Vaishnava. The results of the consequences of offending a Vaishnava were the first few chapters. So there at the end of this Daksha Yajna also again it says, Idam pavitram paramisha cheshchitam yashashyam ayushyam agoga marshanam yo nityada akaranya naro anukirtayet dunoti yagam kaurava bhakti bhavataha. Similarly it says, yo nityada akaranya naro anukirtayet bhakti bhavataha. If one hears, anukirtayet, akaranya, one who narrates again with faith and devotion, bhakti bhavataha. What is this? Idam pavitram paramisha cheshchitam. The story of Daksha Yajna, which was conducted by the Supreme Lord himself. Then, dunoti agam agauga marshanam. One is cleared of all contamination of this material existence. Yashashyam ayushyam. And he will get Yashashyam, auspiciousness. Name will be glorified. Ayushyam, he will have a long span of life also. Because for a devotee, he is not limited by material rules and regulations. Like for all of us, there is one shloka in 2nd canto where it says, every sunrise and sunset, sun steals our life. Correct? Every day one sunrise and one set, one day of our life is gone. So it is stealing our life. But Shastra says, but for a devotee, the sun cannot steal its life. How? Material rule does not apply to devotees. So there in that context, Prabhupada elaborates, for a devotee, what is his main concern? It is his devotional service to the Lord. So wherever he is, he simply engages in devotional service. So as long as he exists in this body, material body, he performs devotional service to the Lord. But since he is a serious practitioner, once he quits his body, he attains to the spiritual world and continues the devotional service there. So material sun cannot steal anything. But for the outside person, what are they doing whole life? They are trying to earn something, save something, protect something. But the last moment, what happens? They have to leave everything and go away. So all his endeavor is gone, zero. So so everything he has lost. So, and similarly also, for us also for perception wise, since we are talking about realization perspective, by seeing all of us, mostly people cannot guess what is our age. Can somebody guess what will be our ages? It will be always be guessing wrong. Because sun is not able to steal fully our age properly. Realization, we have to understand this is how things happen. Recently, I met some classmates. So they're all now parents with kids almost now 10th class, intermediate. And they're all looking exactly like that age. But if we look, I'm trying to be there with them in that photo, I'm like a kid in front of them. So they are being aging, but we are not able to perceive that age. And outside people can relate this. So that's what Shastra, when we try to say, when sun cannot steal your life. So there are some resemblances for us. So similarly, when we hear further Bhagavatam also, we see same Hiraṇyākṣa, brother Hiraṇyakashpu was there. The 7th canto elaborates about Prahlad Maharaj and how his pure devotion, and how the demon Hiraṇyakashpu was also killed. At the end of that narration, again, Falashruti was mentioned. It says, Ya etat punyam akyanam Vishnor viryopa brahmitam kirtayet shraddaya shrutva karma pasher vimuchyate. So again, systematically it says, so one who yo etat kirtayet shraddaya shrutva, with faith, kirtayet, you chant, shrutva, if you hear about this narration, akyanam, of the Lord and Lord Prahlada and Hiranyakashpu. Vishnor Virya Upabrahmitam, the glorious activities of Lord Vishnu, is Karma Pasher Vimuchyate, is immediately liberated from all material bondage. We become cleansed of all material bondage. Then, Etad Ya Adi Purushasya Mrugendra Lilam. So, this specific pastime of Mruga Indra Lilam, human lion pastime, who is Adi Purushasya, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Daitendra Yutapavadam Prayataha Pateta. Every day when he reads Pateta, Prayataha, early in the morning. Daitendra Yutapavadam, the killing of this demon, Hiranyakashpu. Daita Atmajasya Satam Pravarasya Punyam. And his son Prahlad Maharaj, Daitya Atmajasya Pravaram, he is the most recognizable, Pravaram, like he is the most advanced personality in the associates of the Lord, the best Satam of the pure devotees. Punyam, we became most auspicious, we become most auspicious. Shutva Anubhavam Akutobayam Eti Lokam. When you hear about this pastime, Shutva, Anubhavam, we become realized, we become experienced. Akuto Bayam, we become free from all kinds of fear. Eti Lokam, in this material world, because this material world is Padam Padam Yat Vipadam. At every moment there is a danger. So you have to become free from all these dangers, we have to become fearless. You have to hear about the Lord. Then you become fearless in this material world. So this Falashruti is giving us an opportunity. By systematically hearing about that pastime, what happens? Our consciousness becomes attached to that Lord. Daily when you are asked to read, what will happen? Automatically you are engrossed into that pastime. So when you get engrossed into that personality, when you hear about a person, you automatically develop that qualities of that person. So when you hear about that pure devotees, you automatically gain that same kind of mentality, the same kind of thinking, the same kind of visualization that what that devotee goes through, you also experience the same thing. So in that way, we also develop that pure essential qualities and we become cleansed of all unwanted things. This is the first part. Then the second part is saying we become cleansed of even the shapas like Brahmavadam. So in Bhagavatam also one more narration has come about this Brahmavadam. In the 6th canto, Indra, when he offended his guru, Brihaspati. So Brihaspati vanishes from the assembly. And because of this offense to their guru, they become, they lose in that battle with the Danavas. Jai Shri Shri Radha Govinda ki. Because they worship sincerely their guru Shukracharya and they become victorious. And the demigods become paupers. So seeing the situation, they go to Lord Brahma and they request him, please help us, what to do? Brahma scolds them. First you do mistake, you do commit offenses to your spiritual master and you come back and beg forgiveness. This is not the proper way. For a temporary situation, he asks them to go and take shelter of Vishwarupa. So they accept him as their spiritual master and they engage him through him. Some devotional activities, Narayana Kavacham and many other homas were done. And because of these things, the demigods attain the power. So, but at one particular point, Indra observed this Vishwarupa was playing duplicity. Because he was related to both the demons and the demigods. He became angry. The Vishwarupa was supporting. Loudly he is chanting mantras for the demons. Sorry, for the demigods, and indirectly he is chanting mantras for the demons also. So he becomes angry and he takes his sword and chops off the heads of Vishwarupa. Again he killed a Brahmana. So because of which he became sinful. So for that sinful tendencies, he had attained that sinful reactions. So he had to share that sinful reactions with various personalities. He shared between 4 entities. The first one he shared with earth. And the promise he gave was, because there will be ditches, holes in the earth. Over a period of time, these holes becomes covered by mud or dust or anything. And because of the accepting the sinful reaction from Indra, the earth became barren or desert. So wherever we see that desert part of situation, that place is considered like most sinful prasesha. Marubhumi it is called, where sinful reactions of the earth have manifested there. The second thing was, trees accepted this part of sinful reaction of Indra. So the benediction what they got back, when the branches are cut, they are trimmed, the branches will grow back again. But the result of the sinful reaction, when the trees will release sap. So that is their sinful reaction. Third one, women are given the part of sinful reaction. The sin of accepting this thing was, before this the women were never having that menstrual period. But because of accepting the sinful reaction on behalf of Indra, they started having menstrual period. And the benefit what they got, they could enjoy lusty desires even during the pregnancy, as long as it does not disturb the embryo. That is the benediction what they got. And the fourth one was, water received the sinful reactions. So because of that, the tendency showed by water was bubbles and foam. So whenever water is with bubbles and foam, you don't use that for drinking purpose or anything. It becomes useless. But the benediction what the water received on behalf of this killing sinful reaction was, whenever anything is added to water, the volume of that vastu becomes increased. Like you have juice. So add little water, the juice will increase. So anything added with water, the volume will become increased. So that is a benediction what water received. So after again gaining victory, again Indra and all became little proud. In the meantime, Tvasta, the father of Vishwarupa, he becomes angry and he wanted to take revenge on Indra. So he performs a fire sacrifice. And in that sacrifice, while he was chanting the mantras, one mantra where he is supposed to say in a higher tone, he says one syllable less. That's a variation. Means one meaning, means it is a negative meaning. So he was supposed to say a demon, a son who will kill Indra was supposed to take birth. But instead of wrongly misspelling it, he said a son who will be killed by Indra was chanted. So that boy was Vritrasura. So he becomes the commander-in-chief. And he fights with the demigods So much so that Indra also could not do anything. They become all morose. Then they go to the Lord and request him what to do, how can we kill. Then Lord directs them to go and ask Dadichi Muni. So they go and pacify Dadichi Muni, and from Dadichi Muni's bones, the Vajrayuda was built. With that Vajrayuda, Indra starts fighting with Vritrasura. And this fighting went for a long time also. And Vritrasura, while fighting was happening, he was preaching to Indra about devotional service. There are some couple of chapters where he explains about pure devotional to Indra. At the end, Indra finally, Vritrasura closes his eyes and he says, I am surrendered, now you can kill me. So now Indra starts killing by using the thunderbolt, and to pierce his skin and to cut off his head from his body. For the thunderbolt, it took 1 year. Then you can understand how severe was the body of Vritrasura. After killing that again, Vritrasura, then Indra, everybody were very happy, all the demigods, all the rishis, and everybody were enjoying, festivities were going on. But Indra was crying. They said, there is no wrong because you have killed a demon. But Indra knew, even though he was in the form of a demon, he is the greatest devotee. I have killed a Vaishnava. Earlier it was only a Brahmana, now I have killed a Vaishnava. So now he became very morose. And because of his sincere repentance, the sinful reaction started following him. This time the sin personified took the form of one old lady. And she was so lean and thin, she was suffering from TB, tuberculosis, and her entire body was having that stains of blood. She is vomiting. And she is running behind Indra. He is going everywhere to take shelter, but he could not get shelter. So he ran to the sky, she followed him to the sky, everywhere, wherever Indra goes. This lady personified sin was following him. So finally he went to Manas Sarovara and went into the water, deep into the lake. And Manas Sarovara, there are many lotus stems. And that is where Lakshmi Devi stays there and does meditation for the Lord. So he went and took shelter of Lakshmi Devi into that stems of lotus. And there he stayed for thousands of years. And by engaging in meditation, by engaging in devotional service to the Lord through yoga, meditation, he became cleansed of that sinful reaction. So Brahma Hatya, only by engaging in devotional service again. So this is one narration what we get in Bhagavatam. Then there is one more narration we get in Ramayana about this perspective. After killing Ravana, Lord Ramachandra, once he comes back to Rameshwaram place, crossing the other side of the ocean. So great rishis were there, Agastya Muni and they were all there. So Lord Ramachandra goes and paid respects to Agastya Muni. Then inquires from him, see what is the thing to counteract this sinful reaction. Then what is that sinful reaction? I have killed a Brahmana. Ravana was a Brahmana. Ravana Brahma. Because his father Vishrava was a great sage. Even to hear Hiraṇyākṣa and Hiraṇyākṣa are sons of Kashyapa Muni, the sons of Brahmanas. So, but Agastya Muni and all, they say, no, there is no requirement for you. You are Supreme Lord, you are beyond rules and regulations. There is no atonement required for you. But Lord Rama insists, no, since I have accepted this human-like form, I have to set an example for the people. So finally, after due consideration, they all say to the Lord, since Ravana was the greatest devotee of Lord Shiva, let us pacify Lord Shiva. So then how to pacify Lord Shiva? So they wanted one Shivalinga there. So one Muhurta has been decided and Hanuman was asked to go to Manas Sarovara and Kailasha, that Himalayan part, and get one special Shivalinga from there. So Hanuman went there by the will of the Lord. It was becoming very delayed. So he went to search for that Atmalinga. He could not get on time. And here Muhurta was happening. So on the insist of the sages, Lord Ramachandra and Sita Devi immediately made one Shivalinga out of the mud, sand, because they are near the ocean. So she immediately made one Shivalinga out of this sand, and Lord Ramachandra started worshipping that. When the worship is almost done, then Hanuman reached there with one Shivalinga. So seeing that Lord Ramachandra had performed without he was not able to be part of the Lord Ramachandra's mission, he started feeling very bad and he started feeling very depressed. Then Lord pacified him and he said, no problem, don't worry. So this Shivalinga, after this Shivalinga, next to that will be your Shivalinga. And whoever comes here to have darshan of Rameshwara, so first we will have darshan of your Shivalinga, then they will come and have darshan of the Shivalinga which was done by Sita Devi. In that way, Hanuman was also pacified. And Lord Shiva was also pacified. Because Lord Ramachandra was setting an example of how his devotees are the greatest personalities. So when Lord Krishna says in Bhagavatam, Vaishnavanam yata Shambhu, my devotees are most glorious. And among them the most glorious Vaishnava was Lord Shiva. So as devotees try to serve the Lord tries to serve his devotees. Not that one is superior or the other is inferior. The Lord accepts a humble position to glorify his devotee here. So similarly, there is one more story which is connected with Lord Vittala. The importance of hearing about the pastimes of the Lord. There was one devotee by name Kurmadas, who took birth in the area called Paithan, which is in Maharashtra part. An ardent devotee from a lower background, but very sincere and serious. The name Kurma because when he took birth, he had no hands and legs to his body, just it was this part, one head. Because his organs were within the body, everybody started calling him like Kurmadas. From his childhood, he was into devotional service. So when he was in a child, one time a great devotee was passing by that area. So he came to their village and there were some serious spiritual discussions there, and he started glorifying about Lord Vittala and about various pure devotees, Namdev, and various personalities about their life history, how that devotion to the Lord and all he was exhibiting there. He was explaining all the stories about Lord Vittala with his other associates. So he became very inspired and he said, at least one time in my lifetime I should have darshan of Lord Vittala. When he is explaining so nicely how Lord is so happy, how glorious, how merciful and all. So every year many devotees keep walking to Pandharpur. So one day one batch was going through up from their village. He requested them, please help me. I want to accompany you. Then they started scolding him, laughing at him, and they started persuading him not to come. They are saying, Arey, for us itself is a difficult task to travel such a long distance. And you will be an inconvenience for us. You will not be able to walk. You will be dragging yourself. And we will not be able to reach on time if you are going in that speed. Some elderly people saying, even we wanted to go, but we can't go as our body was not able to support us. And you with so much deformity and you are saying, I would like to go. They started criticizing him. They started pulling him down. They started demotivating him. But he thought, no, I will take this opportunity. So since Lord is the only shelter, taking complete shelter of the Lord, he started traveling to Pandharpur. So by one day's travel, he came to the next village. He came to a Hanuman temple there. So he went and inside and had darshan of Hanumanji. And he was praying, my dear Lord, I know you are the only personality, Vittala. But I am in an unfortunate situation that I can't stretch my bodily activities. I am limited. But I have a sincere desire to come and have your darshan. So please help me. Indirectly he was saying, please help me to have your darshan. Give me an opportunity to have your darshan. So when Lord heard the sincere prayer, so he came to the situation. He dressed himself like a merchant. And he said, my dear sir, where are you going? He said, I am going to Pandharpur. He said, I am also going there only. So then he came and he assisted him. He took care of him. He gave him some feed. He gave him some water. He was wiping the body. So then he said, what is your name? He said, my name is Vittoba. What do you do? I do business in Pandharpur. And every year I keep traveling because of businessmen. I have to go here and there to purchase various goods. On the way, whenever I meet devotees, I keep serving them This is my way of service. So then he said, okay, you can accompany me. Then he said, how I can accompany you? You can walk very fast. I can't even walk. I have to drag myself. No problem. I'll go to the next village and I'll wait there. By the time you come there, I'll provide you prasadam. I'll keep facilities for your water, for your sleep, everything. I'll make arrangements. So every day he used to walk off early. And by evening, Kurmadas used to come to that village. And that Vittoba used to take care of him, give him some refreshments, some food, some drink, some place to sleep. And by chance, if there were no villages in the path, Vittoba created a village there so that he can come and take rest. So like this, all this happened for 4 months. It was happening. At the end of 4th month, his body became so bruised with wounds. And he became so exhausted. Kurmadas collapsed that he said, I can't even move an inch. My body is not supporting. Entire body was bleeding because he was dragging his body. Because somewhere stones will be there, somewhere thorns will be there. And because of he seeing his situation, then he almost thought, my dear Lord, I am finished. I am somewhere in between where I can't have darshan of your lordships. And if by chance, if I pass away, my desire will not be fulfilled. So the Lord, hearing this time, he came from Pandharpur, and this time he showed him his darshan. And he came along with his other associates, Namadev, Jnanadev, and Savita Mali, and all the other associates were also present with the Lord this time. So by seeing him, Kurmadas became very happy. He said, my lifetime goal has been achieved. And he was very happy, and Lord also was, when he went forward to pay obeisances, the Lord immediately touched him. By the sparsha of the Lord, his body came back to a normal man with hands and legs. He became the most beautiful man. And Lord said, I am very happy for your devotional service, for your endeavor to come to me. With all the inabilities, you still tried to come to me. And Lord said, I am very happy. I want to give you one more benediction. Please take. So then Kurmadas says, no, this itself is the biggest benediction for me. By giving me this youthful body, that itself is a big benediction. But one problem is this material body becoming handsome. These are all again, Janmaishwara Shutashribhi, they will divert me away from my Krishna consciousness. I wanted to have only your unalloyed devotion. Now you are saying, I'll give you more benediction, because of which I may become trapped in this material world with this material opulences and all these things and all. I don't want anything. So he was persuading, my dear Lord, please don't allure me again into this material world to get lost into this worldly activities. But since you are asking me to take a benediction, I think I have one possible option. And he says, what is that? You stay here permanently. Because like me, there will be many more devotees who may not be able to walk or who may not be able to have your darshan. They all can come here and have your darshan here. The Lord becomes very happy and he manifests as a deity there. And the Lord goes back to Pandharpur with all his associates. From that day, this Varkari Yatra, this Ashad Masa, all the Ashad Ekadashi, entire Maharashtra, they walk towards the Pandharpur, taking his inspiration. This Varkari Yatra starts. The entire narration, the entire journey, they keep hearing about the glories of the Lord and singing about the pastimes of the Lord. They are called as abhangs, which were sung by various Tukaram and all these things. See, the entire journey is like a spiritual perspective. And barely depending upon the Lord for the necessities of the life. Not carrying any opulences that by going in a car or anything, they simply keep walking. And in this entire thing, you see, there will be elderly people, there will be younger people. And the younger people will be serving the elderly people by massaging their legs by the end of the day, by giving them support and all. So, as a Vaishnava culture, this is like, see, you can become inspired from anyone and everyone. So, these are all the opportunities where Lord is creating for all of us through his devotees, that we become that inspiration, we derive that inspiration, we develop that devotional mentality. And we also become purified in the process. And we also can go back home, back to Godhead. He is giving us the light. He is giving us the direction. So that's what this pastime also was saying. By hearing about this Hiraṇyākṣa vadam, you become purified. and you'll go back home, back to God. So such are the pastimes of the Lord. The further aspects will be elaborated in the next verse. We'll stop here. Any questions or doubts?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. There is a question online, Prabhu. For the sinful activities of Indra, why other living entities like trees, women, etc. have to suffer? What is the reason behind this?
So when Indra wanted to dispose that, so these are the entities who accepted on voluntary basis. So they shared with him for getting some other benefit. That's the only reason given in Bhagavatam. Okay. Grandhara